Hey guys, how are you all tonight? Lisa, Andy, Dwayne, Nia, Mark, Jolene, Kevin, Greg Maddie, Brian Weaver, oh my goodness, Dinkins is here, Tom Coyle, look at everybody here, Eric, Ace Aquariums. So glad to see you all on here tonight. I do appreciate, I'm looking kind of tan today. Must see my ad over there on my personal page. Hey, it's not here yet. Daryl Bonds, Jared, Francois, Hardly. Gosh, everybody's here. I'm so glad to see you guys. I'm going to show off my new mug. How y'all like that? You can find if you can find that. Whoops, hang on guys. Let me close out of that before I accidentally bump the button again. Let's see. I was distracted. I got a message and I was trying to figure out what that was. Let's see. Thank you. You like my mug? Guys, this was a gift from Megamind. He does character mugs and stuff, so go hit up Megamind because, thank you, Shelly. I was trying to find out. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, Kelly. Glad to see you here. Everybody, be sure to tune in on Wine Wednesday to the Seahorse Whisperer. Guys, I want to welcome you all here. I do know that we do have a lot of new members. As a matter of fact, we are 112 away from 5K. And the reason that we are is because all of you. All the invites that you've been sending out and the shares and stuff like that. Gosh, that is so wonderful, and I appreciate it so very much. You guys are wonderful. Thank you guys for tagging some because the notifications doesn't always show up on from Facebook. So a lot of people do miss it because they don't get the notification, but unless something is really crazy, you know, I'll be here every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Real quick before we bring on our before we bring on our special guest, I want to tell you just a quick brief, keep an eye out. We will be announcing our birthday bash real soon. We have every Tuesday, Bobby, straight up 7 o'clock. You can set your clock by it. I will be here. And our birthday bash, we have teamed up with Dinkins Aquatic Gardens. So it is going to be one heck of a bash. And we've got some special things coming up for the birthday bash because Tank Talk with Tyann turns 1 on April 4th. And Dinkins Aquatic Gardens turns 1 on April 14th. So you can bet that we're going to celebrate them together, and it's not going to be a one-day affair. Y'all remember the 25 Days of Christmas? Reference back to that. So, anyway, here we go. I am going to bring on our special guest. As you know, we have Isaiah from Hannah here, and he's got a lot to tell us, guys. So let's get started. So, keep your crossed if it works. Maybe.
Hello. Can everybody hear me?
There is Isaiah. Yes, it did work, didn't it?
Of course it did. We did all the troubleshooting before. Can you guys hear and see me all right?
That's right. Yeah, I can still hear you. That's fine. I think maybe everybody can. I'll let them comment. Yes, they said yes.
Excellent. Glad to.
So how are you, Isaiah?
I'm doing great this evening. I'm calling you from Rhode Island, where Hannah Instruments is based, and having a nice night. Really excited to be here. Thank you for having me, team.
Awesome. Well, we're super excited too, and there's a lot of questions that I wrote down that our viewers really wanted to know. But before we get into that, I want to find out a little bit about none other than Isaiah.
Than me. All right, cool. So as corny as it is, I kind of always knew that I wanted to go into marine bio. My earliest memory was at the local aquarium, which for me was the Norwalk Maritime Center. If anyone else in the chat is from the Connecticut area. And so I went to a lot of like marine science summer camps and things like that as a kid. And then I actually went to an aquaculture high school, which was a really unique experience. That was really cool. For sure. I mean, I didn't even know they had aquaculture high schools, but that's amazing because it takes just that spark in a child in school or in high school to turn out to be a marine biologist. So go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you. No, absolutely. That's so right. I think that is something cool moving forward, where there are a lot more flexibility in high school programs and people are able to explore things before college, which I think is really important. And so, yeah, there are actually several aquaculture high schools around the country. I went to one in Connecticut. There's actually a couple in Connecticut, though. And it was great because it was a functional fish farm. They raised tilapia and seaweed and everything like that. And so part of my high school day was working in the seafood market, both doing like the actual breeding and also doing some meal prep. So I was CASIP certified, everything like that.
Cool. Well, now I have to ask the ultimate question here. How did you wind up at Hannah?
Yeah, so I went to school in Maine. I went to the University of Maine, studied marine bio and aquaculture. And then I worked in a research lab for a couple of years and decided that I didn't want to end up being a lab researcher. I wanted to do something else. So I decided, okay, if lab research isn't what I wanted to do, I would try some field research going out to sea. And I became a fisheries observer going out on commercial fishing vessels as like part of the government to make sure that the fishermen are doing the right thing, following all the rules. And that's what brought me from Maine to Rhode Island, because a lot of the boats went out from New Bedford. So I was in New Bedford. I love that I did that job. I'm very grateful for the people there. I do recommend it. But when COVID came around, being in close quarters on the boats like that was a little bit uncomfortable. So I left that job. I was looking for other things, and I was just looking for marine bio, aquarium related jobs. And Hannah's logo popped up on Indeed. And I recognized it immediately because I used to use their DO meter and the nitrate checker in my undergrad lab all the time. So I knew the products, I knew the equipment, and it was in my area here in Rhode Island, and it seemed just like a perfect fit. So I applied, and here I am a year later. I started April of 2022.
Awesome. Well, that's amazing. I'm just still dwelling on the fact that you had an aquaculture high school. I mean, that's pretty cool.
it was like a split day program. So I would go to that school for like science and math classes, and then back to public school for English, history, things like that.
Oh, that's amazing. Sweet. Now, I'm going to get into a few of the questions, and I think as we go through the questions, you're going to be able to show or talk about your testers. I did spy one sitting there in front of me. So, anyway.
I tilt this up a little forward so maybe folks can see these better. I tried to make
there you go.
display here. Is that better? Can the folks see that better at home?
Yep, that's better. That's better. Thank you.
Excellent.
Those are amazing. They really are. Now, the first question that was approached to me, and I wanted to get the viewers. I ask questions, and a lot of times people ask questions in the comments on the live, but they go by so quickly. A lot of times I don't see them, and I feel bad about that. So I put up a previous post, and one of the questions that was asked is, number one, when will the new 7-in-1 be released to the market?
Oh, wow. We're going to get right into that tonight, huh? Okay.
Might as well jump in with both feet, right?
Great question. So, for the folks who are aware, previously Hannah had released a 7-in-1, what we called the Marine Master Unit. And what I mean by 7-in-1 is that it was 7 of these little individual checkers in one device. So you would still have to use the individual reagents and test one at a time, but at least you don't have to carry around 7 of these, and it would data log. We're very happy to announce that in about 2, maybe 3 weeks, beginning of April, the new version of the Marine Master will be available at aquarium stores, online, all like that. And this new version is actually 9-in-1. Let's see if I get this right. It can test alkalinity, pH, ammonia, nitrate at 2 levels, so that's 2, high and low, nitrite, magnesium, phosphate, and calcium. There we go, 9-in-1. So the testing process works exactly the same as for each of the individual checkers. So if you're familiar with, say, the calcium test, and I know that one has some steps, it's the exact same process on the Marine Master unit. So you can use the same reagents, it all works the same way. Now, if it was just adding those 2 parameters, that would be pretty good. But what really brings this to the next level in my mind is that it is Bluetooth, and there are several bonuses that come with that Bluetooth functionality. Firstly, I know. Right?
I was like, oh, wait a minute now. Guys, I don't know if you heard that or not, but he said it is Bluetooth. So, okay, Isaiah, carry on. I just wanted to reinforce that. Because we know how everybody is about, the Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, whatever, So tell us about it.
Yeah, so you can name up to 25 tanks on the device itself. So say you have several tanks at home, or like a tank in a sump unit. On the device itself, you can name display 1, breeding tank, sump tank, quarantine, whatever you want to name these individual tanks. And then you can test underneath those labels. So you can select, like, I'm in the quarantine tank section, I'm going to do my full spectrum testing. And it will save the data to those tank labels, and when you export, it will keep that labeling structure. So when you export, it's not just like you're going to get a bunch of numbers that's going to be disorganized. No, it's going to be meticulously organized. It's going to say on this date at this time, because it data logs and it does track date and time, you tested your display tank for these parameters, here were those results. You tested your quarantine tank for those parameters, here are those results. So it's an amazing way to keep organized. At the Aquaculture Research Lab, I always had like a physical notebook, pen and paper, and it would get wet and the ink would run and I would have to like retranspose it to other notebooks all the time. The ability to have this all digital and send it straight to your phone or computer, I think, is a really wonderful step.
Gotcha. So now I've been trying to jot down a few little things in the comments because They are asking away about that, and I don't know that I got them all, but I'll start. You did say it does store the readings, and if so, how long?
Um, it's not a matter of time, it's a matter of tests. I believe that it can store 10 readings under each tank for a total of 250 readings. So if you don't use, like if you do all 10, you can just rename a tank. If you have display tank, you can name the next one display tank 2 once you hit 10 save files for that. So you can store up to 10 up to 250 data points, essentially.
Wow. Okay. The next one was dissolved. No, let's see. Not that's not the next one. Oh, price point. What's the price point? What's the cost going to be on this bad boy in a couple of weeks?
So retail or on map price, so you'll get the same price everywhere, is going to be $450, which I think is a great price point, especially because if you were to get all 9 checkers by themselves, each checker is about $64. That would run you $585, and that's before the Bluetooth feature. So it's over $600 worth of value for only $450.
Gotcha. Now, I see a little cute little carrying case sitting there. Is all that included on the, not guys, not 7-in-1, but 9-in-1?
Exactly. And what I do love about this case is that it is so easy to stay organized. You're not going to lose your reagents. You can keep this right by your tank. A lot of people, and I do recommend this, if you have the individual testers, you can use like a Pelican case and cut out the foam to keep organized. But with this, you don't have to do that by yourself. Comes ready to go. And it comes with enough reagents for at least 10 tests for each of the parameters it can do. It comes with the larger style cuvettes. I'm not going to take them out.
Right.
They're upside down,
Well,
right?
what I noticed about this is one thing that is so different is you're not going to have each of these little purple, blue, green, and black little checkers in front of you just shoved in a case. This all is in one tester. Isaiah, can you hold that white, where you put the vial? Yes. Can you hold that up and show them? Can you get that out of there or no?
Yeah. Let
Okay.
me take out the actual device. Anyway, so I want to make sure that this isn't going to slide off the desk.
Oh, please, no, don't lose that one. Don't break that one.
So here is the device itself. This is the master unit, and I'm going to just take a second and turn the backlight on. It does have a nice backlight, so you can kind of see that. Oh, it's going to be backwards on your screen. Sorry for the folks at home.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you.
Yep. So this is a device. The cuvette is a little bit larger than the ones for the individual checkers, but it does go right into that hole. One other great thing about this is not only is it totally waterproof, but it floats. So if you have a big tank at home and you drop it in, you don't have to go fishing for it, which is fantastic.
Oh, wow.
So like
it's waterproof and it floats.
And so if anyone here likes to snorkel or has a pond and want to do some testing like that, you could bring it out into the field. And that's why we did it, so that it would work for folks at home in the hobby, but also like aquaculture researchers, some things like that.
Right. I gotcha. Now someone, I think this was kind of funny, but someone had asked, do you have a buyback program on the individuals so they can get the big one?
So we don't have a buyback program on the individuals, unfortunately, but we are planning on having an update program for folks who have the original version of this master. For folks who have the 7-in-1, we do plan to have an opportunity for you guys to mail it into us, and we will add the capability for it to test magnesium and ammonia. We can't add Bluetooth to it, unfortunately, but we can add those parameters. The exact details of that program is still in the works. Most likely that will be out like end of April, beginning of May. So if you have the old one and you're looking to upgrade, wait just a little bit longer, because you might as well, just get the updated firmware is what it is. But for that program, you will have to mail it into us, and details on that will be available as soon as I know.
Awesome. Hey, that's amazing. Now, let's see. If there was another. Oh, someone said the 10 milliliter line on the Corvette isn't actually 10 milliliter. When I use a syringe with 10 milliliter, it fills above the white line. Is there an issue with that, or?
So always make sure that you're not looking at the edge of the cuvette when you're looking into the cuvette itself, because based on the surface tension of the water, the edge of the water will be above the line, but it's going to make like a slightly concave drop that's called a meniscus. And the bottom of the meniscus is what you want to be in line with that line on the vial itself. If you are using one of the squeezable pipettes, or even better, a laboratory grade pipette, that is going to be a more accurate 10 milliliters. If you have one of the drawback ones, that's going to be great. But yeah, I would trust the syringe, but also don't worry if on the edge it's above the line, because the important part is that the bottom of the meniscus is what should be just about touching the line.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, good deal. Now, you said do you have an exact release date on the 9-in-1?
I don't have an exact release date. No, I'm sorry. It's going to be 2 to 3 weeks. It's going to be within the first 10 days of April. You know,
Gotcha.
on all
Gotcha.
of this. While we're on this, I want to show you something else that's really cool. Yeah, there's more that's cool about this. It's pretty great.
There's more.
Yep. So the other thing that's great about it being Bluetooth is that it comes with an app. Let me see if I can show you guys this app. So it's, again, it's going to be backwards. It's going to be fuzzy because we're going like screen to screen here.
Right.
But essentially, this is a list of all the parameters. And so not only can you download the info straight to your phone, but you can select on your phone what tests you want to run. So you want to do alkalinity, nitrate, and then phosphate. I selected them on my phone. I click send to device, and it queues them up on the device. So now the device is ready to test those things in that order. So the phone can talk to the device can talk to the phone. It works.
Well, now that I'll have to admit that's pretty slick right there.
A couple other features on the app is that you can add notes directly in the app as you're testing. So say you're testing and it's like you have some freak phosphate level and you know you had some weird algae bloom. You can write a note that's like, this isn't normal, but I know what's happening and it makes sense. So that way you can keep track of things a little more easily. And again, when you export that data, it'll keep that note. So that way, you know, you don't, of course, paper notebooks are great. I still recommend those, but you don't have to anymore. You can do it all digitally. And then the final thing I'll say about the app that's great is that you can graph your parameters both over time and against each other. So like if you want to see your conversion from ammonia to nitrate, you can actually graph ammonia versus nitrate and see as one goes up, one goes down, vice versa, and things like that. So.
Wow. Well, guys, you're seeing it here tonight, and it will be available in about 2 weeks. So that is fantastic. It can talk to your phone can talk to it. You can track with it. You can graph your parameters. I mean, that's some pretty cool stuff right there, Isaiah.
Yeah. So we're really excited about it. I think that, you know, if you already have a lot of the checkers and you're comfortable with them, then really the appeal here is the Bluetooth. But if you only have one checker or you're new to the hobby, get the Marine Master. Because it's going to be so much easier. It's going to be way more organized. You're going to be able to write notes to yourself on your testing. And
Awesome. Well, that is cool. Now I'm going to get to some of the questions, other random questions, and we can come back to this 9-in-1 at any time. Let's see. Someone asked, can you comment on how accurate using the API nitrate reagent is in the HANA checker? Is that doable? Is it no?
I'm sorry to say, but that is a simple answer. All of these devices are made with the proprietary HANA reagents, and I certainly don't recommend crossing between brands. you might get a number, but we cannot vouch for the accuracy of that number.
Right.
So I would be very hesitant. I would not recommend that. And I know some people ask, like, can I use the ppm version of the alkalinity reagent with the DKH checker? Again, you will get a number, but we cannot vouch for its accuracy. So I really do recommend that everyone does like a one-to-one exact match of using the right reagent for the right checker.
Gotcha. Now, while we're on the on the term of, or the subject of accuracy, on the new 9-in-1, what is the plus minus accuracy on that? Do you know that?
Same exact as for each individual checker for each parameter. I believe they're all plus or minus 5% of the reading, and in some cases, an additional plus or minus 1 to 2 ppm. So if you go online and you see the accuracy statement of each individual checker, it's going to be the exact same thing in the 9-in-1. Essentially, it's the same technology, just in one device instead of nine.
Gotcha. This may not have to do with the 9-in-1, but someone said, is there reagent packs bigger than 25? I have multiple tanks and burn through them quickly.
For some, yes, but for most, no. For copper, for example, I do believe we have a 50 and 100. For pH, I know for a fact that we have a vial that's good for 100 tests. I don't believe for nitrate, but for nitrite, it's possible that we have a 50 to 100. The best way to look for that would be to go to our website, just Google Hanna Instruments, and in the search bar, type in whatever reagent you're looking for, and all of the variations of it will come up. For several, we definitely do have 50 and 100 packs, but it's not the norm.
Gotcha. And I'll address this question before it flies on up the screen there. How will you address, or do you foresee an issue of reagents being out of stock? They said they know that it happened quite a bit during COVID. Of course, a lot of things happened during COVID, so there's that. But do you foresee any outings on the reagents? Are they going to be all accessible?
We are all good now. And I know that people were a little bit frustrated about a year ago about stock. I totally understand. It was one of those almost surreal, like, ways that something halfway across the world affected us here. So what's interesting is that Hanna is in 37 countries. We're an international brand. We were actually founded in Italy, and our main manufacturing plant is in Romania. This time last year, the Ukraine conflict really reached quite a height. Not to say that it's not now, but it was newer at the time. And Romania, being in that area, was affected by that, particularly shipping abilities outside the country and internationally. And so our shipping logistical supply chain was just really slowed down by the events over in Eastern Europe at that point in time. And that was the major cause of the stock levels that we experienced last spring. But we figured out some new methods, we figured out some new shipping routes, we were able to make it work, and we don't anticipate any problems like that in the future.
Gotcha. Now, you and I were talking just a little bit earlier, and you told me a few little things about Hanna in general that I didn't know. So maybe you can share a little bit about Hanna, the company.
For sure. So Hanna was founded in the 70s, and or maybe a little bit before that, because the company just turned 45. It is
45, y'all. Did you hear that? 40. The company, I'm trying to get to my first birthday on Tank Talk. The company turned 45. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So 45-year-old company. It is still family owned. It is currently owned and managed by the son of the original founder. So that's really cool. And we make everything in-house. Every plastic molding, every piece of the device, even the glass. We have professional glass blowers in Romania who are making all of the glass to go into our devices. We don't patchwork things from other companies. Everything from Hanna is made by inside and So that's really cool. That also helps us be sustainable and really keep track of mitigating waste and making sure that we're efficient, things like that. And of course, you know, we're in an environmental sector. We want to be environmentally conscious, and that allows us to make high quality products while being the ones in control of sourcing raw materials, removing waste, things like that.
Gotcha.
Yep, so founded in Italy, 45 years old, still family owned. We are in 37 countries, so it's a global brand. And what a lot of folks in the aquarium hobby don't know is that we have over 3,000 products. Our product catalog is like bigger than your average phone book. And the reason for that is that we make testers for Tabasco hot sauce pH, for wine turbidity in the process of making wine, for cheese and dairy products. We have a maple syrup sugar tester. We test in water quality treatment for municipalities. Like, we are very focused and dedicated to the aquarium market. That is an area that we love and a sector that we really strive to support. But Hannah, as an international brand, makes testers for everything.
Wow. That is amazing. So, guys, it's not just for the hobbyists. It's for maple syrup and hot sauce, too.
Here, brewing process. We have a special pH tester for rice in the process of making like very high quality sushi. So like essentially a lot of other companies will reach out and say, hey, we need to test dissolved oxygen. We need to test pH. We need to test sugar levels in their niche products. And we'll develop a tester to do it. We also make titrators. So like professional chemistry lab bench equipment as well.
Wow. That is fantastic. Now, I'm going to read a question before I lose it again. How high of a concentration of silicate does the water need to be before it reads a falsely high reading on a phosphorus checker?
I saw this question beforehand. Unfortunately, this is one of the few that I don't have an answer right off the top of my head. But I'm going to be in touch with Tian, and I will get you guys that information, and we'll make a post about it.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great.
Question. I do love it when there's something I'm going to learn, and now I'm going to go back to work tomorrow and learn something new myself.
Awesome. So you guys can watch for, because I did make a post and got the members involved with the questions, and that did come up about the silicates in the water and it, giving a false reading. And so the post is there, and so Isaiah is going to answer that. It may just take him until tomorrow or the next day, but he will indeed answer that. So, I mean, that is just amazing that Hannah makes all these kind of checkers, and here I just thought they was made aquariums checkers.
And like we love the aquarium space. Obviously, this is a space we're very committed to. I just think it's interesting that we have a whole fleet of scientists and engineers that make titrators, controllers, testers for pool chlorine levels, just really any kind of chemical water. If it's a liquid or close to a liquid and there's a chemical parameter, we probably have a tester for it.
That's awesome. I love it. Someone had asked quite a while back. I just tried to vaguely abbreviate and write it down. I don't even know that I'm going to read it correctly. Someone had asked, dissolved oxygen test kit, any something for, I can't even read my own writing because I was writing so fast. Anything, maybe any fact for organics? Do you have a dissolved oxygen test kit?
It sounds like this person's asking about biological dissolved oxygen, which we do have testers for. It depends on their exact application because we have several for that process. If that person wants to get in touch with me directly, I can send them some options. I was actually recently at Aquaculture America, the biggest professional aquaculture trade show in the country. That was in New Orleans a few weeks ago, and we were showing off some dissolved oxygen levels meters for field testing that we have. But if it's something for your tank at home, obviously you might not want a very big field meter. We do have some smaller options. So I'll take this moment to say that if anyone on the stream, either watching it live or in the future, has any questions, email me at aquarium, exactly like aquarium. I hope you know how to spell that. I'm not going to spell it out for you. Aquarium at Hannah Inst, so like short for instruments. Aquarium at Hannah, INST.com. I'll get all those emails and I'll answer your questions.
Gotcha. Now, I do want to tell you, after the live, if you have just a moment, if you would make a post and put that how to reach you with those questions. Actually, this person has a seahorse tank, and she was very interested in that. So, if you can put the link up there where they can contact you, because she's very interested in that.
That is awesome, and kudos to you, because I used to work at a maritime aquarium. And the seahorses, they're just a very fragile species. So amazing respect to being able to keep them alive. I had an advisor in college who tried to breed them, and his joke was that if you sneeze in the room, you can lose your whole population. So wear a mask, keep the tank safe. Big props on being able to do that. I would love to see some pictures.
Awesome. That's great. Let's see. Now I'm gonna go over some of the questions that I had wrote down off of the post that I'd made. So they're just kind of going to be random, bouncing back and forth. Why does the alkalinity reagent go bad so quickly? Why does it break down?
Excellent question. So the alkalinity reagent actually reacts with air and oxygen. And I've seen some people asking about this before. I fielded some emails about this through my time at Hannah. The best thing you can do to keep the alkalinity reagent long lasting is keep that cap on as often as possible. So get ready to test, open the cap up, take the syringe out, and immediately close it back down and do your testing. Don't leave the cap open while you're doing the testing. I have heard that some people have been able to extend the longevity by putting it in the refrigerator. We have not tried that in-house yet, but I have heard enough anecdotes that it seems to work for some people, and it's certainly not going to hurt the reagent. So if you in your own experience have found that it's expiring faster than you think it should, keep the cap on, and if you want to try refrigerating it, go ahead. But in that case, I would recommend letting it sit out so that it gets to room temperature before you actually test. Just like store it cool, but test having allowed it to warm up to room temperature, because that is how it's designed, and we can't really vouch for the accuracy if you're testing it at a much colder level than it was designed for.
Gotcha. Now, like I said, these are just going to be random here. Is the pH and salinity pin accurate from tank to tank, as in a bunch in a row, or is it just better like just to do a couple at a time?
Totally accurate, but rinse it off with RO water in between. That's going to be your best bet. Yeah, so just, it doesn't have to be an intensive clean. If you have a beaker with RO, just put it in, swirl it around a little bit, go to the next tank, dump that beaker, get new RO. If you have it as a little hose, just splash it on there. So yeah, I would just recommend a quick RO rinse in between tanks. But
Gotcha. Someone had asked, how can we ensure accuracy between the tests? Do we chase numbers, or do we look for consistency when testing? That was from Lakeside.
Isn't that the question in this hobby, right? That's the question on everyone's mind.
I proposed it to you, so let's hear your thoughts on it.
So my thoughts is let the overall gestalt health of your tank be your guide. Don't chase numbers just for the sake of chasing numbers. The reason you're chasing numbers is for your livestock. Look at the tank, see if your fish are, see if there's an algae bloom, and understand that all of these parameters do fluctuate. They fluctuate naturally in the ocean. The ocean is not a static environment. So I think to chase a static tank is often to set yourself up for disappointment, because it's very rare that that's going to be the case. So embrace a little bit of variability. As long as it's still in the habitable range for your organisms, you're gonna be fine. And understand that every tester, no matter what brand it is, has an accuracy range. So like for the Hannah checkers, they're all plus or minus 5% of the reading, and on occasion an extra plus or minus 1 to 5 ppm, depending on the checker. It's the same for something like Salifert or Red Sea. There is an accuracy range. So often I get emails saying my Hana checker says one thing, my Salifert says one thing, but when you expand the number into the actual range that it represents, they overlap like a Venn diagram, which means that they're actually consistent. They're reading the same thing. So just understand that, like, yes, you do get a number on the screen. Yes, that is the number you should go by, but that number represents a range in and of itself. And so there always is going to be variability. I would not recommend chasing numbers unless you have something very specific, like a seahorse tank, and you really need it on the dot. And that, like, depends on your livestock. It depends on your situation. But I think that if your tank appears to be consistently healthy, even if there is some fluctuation in the exact readings, you're going to be in good shape.
Gotcha. Now, another person had asked on the post that I'd made, will they be fixing the issue with salinity checkers? Seem to be having issues with calibration. And that was from Heather.
Yep, so I don't know the cause of that issue, but I have noticed some people emailing in with calibration or potentially that their salinity checker is just turning off mid-test. If you are experiencing that, email me at aquarium@hanainst.com. and our tech team will troubleshoot it. And if it's within warranty, within a year, then we'll do our best to replace it if we can't figure out what's happening.
Gotcha.
Yep. Often it could be that your calibration reagents have expired. It could be that the meter just needs a factory reset. There is a factory reset option. It's just not everyone knows about it. So if you are experiencing that, email aquarium@hanainst, and we will do our best to help you out.
Gotcha. Ted Walton is actually dropping that link or how to contact you in there throughout the comments also, and Isaiah will also post it on the page after it is over. Now, you know how we'll buy a can of tomato paste, and then 2 months later there's a recall on it. Has there ever been a recall on any of the reagents? And if so, how does people get notified about that?
Boy, has there ever been a recall. Send a like in the chat if you got the original magnesium checker. Because yes, as everyone is aware at this point, we did have an issue with the very first iteration of the magnesium checker. I was actually the one making all the posts on Reef to Reef. So if you saw the long explanation of what happened, that was me on Reef to Reef. And it is like one of those surreal, just like chain of events things. What happened was the very first batch was put on a container ship leaving Romania, but it was held up in port due to the Ukraine conflict. It was spring, it was hot, and they sat in a container in the spring heat in the sun. It was supposed to be for a couple of weeks. They sat for 2 months. And in that long-term exposure, the reagents went bad early. So that's what happened. It wasn't even a manufacturing issue. It was sitting in the heat for longer than anyone expected. And so the fix for that was we changed reagent A, or maybe it was B. We changed one of the reagents from a liquid to a powder, which gave it more temperature stability, and now it's perfectly fine. Now the new iteration of the magnesium checker is working. I have been doing my best to get everyone their reagent. It has literally been me handling that process, whether you filled out the form or you emailed me directly. So it is my hope that at least 90% of you on this call, if you wanted the replacement, if you put in that form, if you emailed me, sincerely hope that it has already happened for you. I think I've been at like 90% success with that. If for whatever reason you have not gotten the updated version that you are due for yet, email me at aquarium@hanainst again, and I will get that to you ASAP. If you're watching this overseas, it might take a little bit longer because we have to coordinate with the other HANA offices in your geographic region. But if you're in the US, I can send that out this week. So if you have not yet received your fixed magnesium checker, do get in touch.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's the black sheep on the HANA history right now. So I just wanted to take a minute and clear the air there. But the original question was about reagents. We've never had a widespread recall like that before. We did have a bad lot of nitrate reagents relatively recently. If your nitrate reagents were clumpy, it seemed like wet or discolored, email me as well. That was a bad lot, and we'll just replace it out for you.
Okay. Now, he also brought up another fact that, you know, it would be cool if you guys, you know, because generally when you place orders and stuff, you know, you leave your email address or you sign up for notifications or whatever. If they could send out like a mass email, like if there was a bad reagent or a recall, so to speak, on something, is that possible? Maybe in the future you can set that up?
Yep, so we did do that for magnesium. It took us a while to figure out what happened because, like, the very first ones that we airshipped into us worked perfectly fine. So we were like, this isn't a manufacturing issue. What's happening? And then it took us a while to get the ones from the boat that were heat exposed, which is why that instance had longer communication than we usually do. But we did send out blast emails. We posted on social media. We had our other influencers and people who make videos, like there's Mark at saltwateraquarium.com who makes videos. He mentioned that, dropped the link for the form. So we certainly did our best to communicate with that. For the nitrate reagent, it was very few affected in a singular lot, so we didn't send out a blast email on that. But if you were affected by that, do email me. And in any case that there is something like that moving forward, now that I'm on the team and I've been the one kind of working on these processes, I will be pushing for blast emails in the future.
Awesome. Now, Jonathan said, well, I just lost it. So the magnesium checker, it works with the new reagents, or do we need new checkers for the new reagents?
If you have the original checker, the new reagents will work for it. The only difference is that one of the reagents is a powder. And like on all the other checkers that is a powder base, the checker itself has a timer. The original checker does not have that timer. So if you have the original checker, but the new reagents, it's gonna work perfectly fine. Just set a timer on your phone for 3 minutes for the dissolution of that powdered reagent. If you want the update and you have a serial code or a receipt or a proof of purchase of the original one, we'll just send you a new checker that has the timer built in. But the only difference from the original device to the new device is the timer. There's no reading differences whatsoever.
Gotcha. Now, this is in reference to the 9-in-1. How long does the battery in that tester last? And is it does it have an adapter cord where you can plug it up and charge it, or how does that work?
That's an excellent question. So it has 3 AA batteries that actually comes with it. It's like the only product I've ever seen where batteries are included. And I'm not seeing any cord or charging port, so I do believe it is battery dependent. I don't know an expected lasting life, but yeah, 3 AA batteries.
3 AA batteries. Okay, gotcha. And while we're on the 9-in-1 again, what is the warranty on that?
1 year. All Hannah products are warranted for 1 year. And the caveat to that, however, is that they're warranted from when they were purchased from us. So if you get it from us, it's 1 year from when you bought it. But if you get it at your local fish store, it might have already been on the shelf for 6 months. So it depends a little bit. We are understanding and flexible. And again, it's me making a lot of the decisions. So if you've got something at your local fish store and like it came broke and they're giving you a hard time, just get in touch with me. We'll do our best. I can't promise anything outside of the warranty, but you know, we're people too. We understand when stuff is annoying, and I want to make sure everyone's as happy as I can while still keeping my job.
Awesome. Very good. There you go. Now, this is in reference to the 9-in-1 again. They might have missed it, but let's confirm. It is water resistant and it floats.
And it floats. That is exactly.
And it floats, guys. You're not going to have to, fish it out of the bottom of your aquarium when you drop it.
If you're
drop it in there. It floats.
You're like, I'm snorkeling in Cozumel, Mexico. I want to see the nitrate level. You can bring it out with you.
Gotcha. There you go. Now, back to a question that was on the post that I had made yesterday. What are you guys' requirements on the reagents? As in, what is the quality control that they use? And do you use ISO standards? And that was from Jerry.
I do believe we use ISO standards, but that's another one that I will confirm with our tech department tomorrow. I'm 90% sure that we do. Obviously, we have a lot of quality control, and that we are using ISO standards. But before I lock myself into that answer for all of them, I want to triple check that.
Gotcha. And I do believe that we covered already the your recommendations on handling or storing the alkalinity reagents. Yep. You said that it's possible to put them in the fridge to make them last a little bit longer, possibly.
Yes, however, let them warm up to room temperature before you actually use them. And the key thing, the more thing that we as a company vouch for and recommend is keep the cap on as much as possible, really limit the amount of time that there's air exposure to the alkalinity checker, and make sure that you're not going back from your tank into the vial. Because if you introduce tank water into the vial, that's going to react as well and spoil the reagent faster. So make sure you're only going one way from the vial into the checker, not from the checker water back into the vial.
Gotcha. Now, this has been brought up several times, not only here on the live, but it was in the questions also on the page. Is there any possible way, or maybe the new 9-in-1 has it, is there any possible way you could add a beep to the checkers so when, as to when it's going to show the results? They're after a beep, y'all.
I understand. I really do. Because I know, like, if the timer runs out and you miss it on the screen, you have to do it again. I can't say that we're working on a beep right now. Perhaps in the future, that would be like if we do a checker 2.0, we kind of like do a new update to the whole line. I would like to see that happen, but if you're asking me if that's in the works right now, the answer on that is no. However, we'll take this opportunity to mention the Marine Monitor, which came out a few months ago now. I believe it came out in December, and this thing is loud, and this thing beeps. So this is a display unit that you can mount next to your tank, on your cabinet, on the inside if you don't want to show it off, whatever. It comes with suction cups and like essentially command strips. And it comes with 2 probes that will live in your tank, and it constantly displays pH, salinity, and temperature. Now, it's not Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and we did that deliberately to keep the costs down. We wanted this to be a very entry-level monitoring device. But because it's not Bluetooth or anything like that, we put some serious beeping into this device. And you can set high and low ranges for pH, salinity, and temperature. And if it falls outside of those range, this thing will start beeping. And of course, you can turn it down. It's like you can adjust the volume, but its loudest setting is pretty loud. If anyone's around, they will hear it, and you'll be able to know that something's up.
I got you. Now, by chance, is there any beeping that's going on that 9-in-1, maybe?
I mean, not so. I don't think it has a speaker, so I don't think it has anything audibly. But what it does have is step-by-step tutorial instructions on the screen itself. So you don't have to memorize how to do it. You don't have to have the instructions in front of you. It will say, get the cuvette, take your sample, put it into the device, take it out, flick the reagent pack, open the reagent pack. It will give you step-by-step instructions around the screen. And of course, again, it's Bluetooth and data log. So in that case, even if you miss it, it's still, the information is still there.
Gotcha. There you go. No beeps, but we got step-by-step instructions. Yeah. Let's see. That was from Henry. He was the first one to ask me about the beeping. So, now this is from Mark. He said, "What would make Hannah any better than any other test?" No, let me rephrase that. What would make them better than any other test would be better for a colorblind person? So these are much better, because there is a lot of people that does suffer from that.
You don't even have to be colorblind to suffer from, is this teal or go? Like, those color charts are so similar. And the aquaculture lab I used to be in was in a basement with like dim lighting, and it was so hard to tell the difference between a lot of those colors. But you don't be colorblind to get a lot of value from these. I would say that some key differences between Hannah and other brands are accuracy. We are a scientific chemical testing company. We pride ourselves in accuracy. It's not just like adding some drops and looking for a color change. This is lab equipment that's just been reappropriated and put into a nice egg shape for use at home. But at the end of the day, this is laboratory grade equipment, so it is going to be more reliable there. And of course, you do get the digital number, which is a lot easier. We have responsive customer service. It's usually me, so I'll do my best to help everybody out. And then for so when I say titration, that's like an API or a Salford test where you're adding a certain amount of drops until you get a reaction. And for tests like that, if you miss one drop, if you looked away for a second, you're going to misinterpret that. If you over squirted the pipette and 4 drops were bigger than the last 4, you're going to get a wrong number. So there's just so much room for user error in those titration-based methods. Why bother with that when this is just as easy, if not easier, to use? And it's great.
My biggest thing with the colors is you can have it read whatever you want it to. You're going to hold it in this light, or you're going to stand next to the tank with the blue light. You're going to go outside, or how about that, weird little light you got in the dining room, I mean, it's like, oh, what's it going to be today?
Objective at the end, and then also in the beginning, with making sure that you counted the drops right, that you're consistent in your drop squeezing method. There's just so much room for error throughout the entire process. And to me, it's just like, why deal with that when these are as easy as adding some powder to a cuvette and letting the device be your eye and tell you exactly what that color change means. So I think that that's one key differentiator between us and some other brands. To brag about the Marine Monitor for a second,
Sure.
A lot of people use our salinity pen tester. I would say this is one of our best-selling products right here. I use this all the time in my research, and I feel like it's really become the industry standard for salinity. And part of the reason for that is that it's an EC graphite testing probe. A lot of other brands for testing salinity use optical testing, which can be fooled by air bubbles, by detritus, by other dissolved compounds and this gunk in the tank. So our Marine Monitor uses the same graphite EC technology, so it's going to give you a more accurate reading than some of the other brands that are using optical salinity testers.
Gotcha. Hey, that's awesome. Now, here's another question, and this was from RQ. I'm just going to say his last name. I couldn't say the first one. High silicate, we might have covered this. High silicate levels affect the results of the Hannah ultra low range phosphate checker. It reports higher values than actual. He just wants to know why. Yep. Why is that?
So that is one I'm going to have to get back to you on. We did touch that in the call. Unfortunately, I just don't know off the top of my head, but I will ask our chemists and engineers, and I will get back to you guys.
Awesome. That's perfect. Now, someone, Affordable Frags had asked on the page, can you make all powder reagents into liquid-based or offer a jar with a small spoon?
The small spoon, I think, is more likely than the liquid base. So part of the reason that the reagents are powder is because the same reagent is being used in different applications. Like it might be used in a food chemistry lab where they prefer the powder. And a lot of times it just comes down to the raw material. If it just is easier, more efficient for us to make that raw material as a powder, maybe we could chemically convert it to a liquid, but it would cost you more in order to do so. So it's always a balancing game of cost, logistics, raw chemistry. I don't foresee any currently powder reagents becoming liquids. However, we have done that in the past. For example, the magnesium, we did convert one of the liquid reagents to a powder. Ammonia, actually, we recently had a raw materials change. There's no change to the ammonia device. If you have the original one, you're fine. If you have the new one, you're fine. They just don't look the same. One of the reagents is a powder now. And that was another case where our raw supplier said, and that, again, that's part of HANA. We own that raw supplier, but it just came down to it was significantly more efficient to make it as a powder. So we went with the powder.
I got you. Now what's the salinity pen that you held up? You said that was like one of your bigger sellers right there. And what is the price point on that?
Yep, the salinity pen is running at $79.99, so $80 now, Matt. That's what it should be anywhere that you find it. Purchase your aquarium gear.
I got you. Now, we're just going to hit a few little hops because I've kept you an hour now.
This is too fun.
It's been an hour. I just looked at the clock. Actually, I looked down at my laptop and I was like, oh my God, it's been an hour. I was like, eek. So, we're going to wind up a little bit. We're going to hit a few of the little highlights because this is something new that's rolling out, is the 9-in-1 tester. The 9-in-1 tester. Correct me if I'm wrong. It is waterproof and it floats. If anybody missed that while ago.
It comes in a beautiful case.
Comes in a beautiful case.
To use it. There's nothing else you need to purchase to get this until you run out of the reagents, of course. And at that point.
Gotcha. And is the reagents any price difference? Or is it nope, same price?
Exact same reagents that work for the checker will work for that. So like if you run out of your phosphate ultra low on this device, you get that same phosphate ultra low reagent the same as you would.
I gotcha. And we're looking at probably in 2 weeks.
Yes. I would say it will be available at all local fish shops, major websites like Bulk Reef and Saltwater Aquarium, on our own website, within the first 2 weeks of April.
Gotcha. And it is controlled by batteries. There is no power outlet to recharge it, so it's just replaceable batteries, correct?
That is correct, but it does come with the batteries to get you started.
Batteries included. That's awesome. Now, I'm guessing as soon as it is available within the next 2 weeks or so, you guys are going to plaster that everywhere, right? So we're going to know, huh?
Yep. You'll be bombarded by other people making videos and Instagrams and posts like that. So if you're in this hobby, I think it's going to be hard to miss.
Awesome. Someone said Terra Reef Aquariums can't wait to get our Marine Master kits in. There you go. How about that?
I can't wait to send them to you.
Let's see. Kelly says, does everything shut down if the batteries stop working? And no, there's no alarm. I can tell you that one right now. And I want to ask this too, because it goes along with what Kelly said. Does everything shut down when the batteries quit working? Do you lose all of the stored information when you go to change the new batteries?
I'll have to 100% confirm, but so what I know for a fact is that it does have a battery meter on the display. So it's never just going to die out of the blue. You'll see, okay, you turn on out the box, it's at 100%. The next time you use it, it's at 90%. The next time it's at 70, whatever. So you're going to see the battery meter the same as your phone. It's not going to just die on you. And obviously, all the information saves when you power it off. So my inclination is that even if the battery dies, like while you're testing, everything except the test that was interrupted will still save. But just to make sure I've done my due diligence, I will get back to you guys on that.
Okay. I do know, like, some things, I can't think what it is off the top of my head, but some things when you, unhook like, for instance, my car battery, if you unhook it, you have to reset your clock, in the car. So, I just was curious as to whether or not it stored them when you change the batteries.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to get back to you on that, but I think you'll be fine. I don't anticipate you would have to reset the clock or lose any data, My own paranoia would say export the data as often as you can so that you always have it backed up on your phone. And since it's so easy to back up on your phone, there's really no reason not to.
Let's see. Someone said, so my hands shake terribly. How bad is it if not all the powder makes it in the container?
I get this question all the time. The powder packets are deliberately made with a little bit more powder than you need. Now, that's not to say don't only use half the pack. Not the case. What I'm saying with that is do your best. If there's still a few crumbs in the packet, you should be fine.
Gotcha. Oh my gosh, Isaiah, you've told us Hannah is 45 years old. They make hot chili pepper testers. You filled us in on the new 9-in-1, not 7-in-1, and gave us a pretty close release date on it. About 2 weeks, you guys are going to see that. That is absolutely amazing.
2 weeks, but yes.
That is fantastic. And are you going to any shows this year, Isaiah?
I just got back to Restock Denver. Shout out to anyone that I met at Restock Denver. That was a fantastic show. Again, I've been with the company for just a little less than a year. So my background goes deep. I know what I'm talking about, water chemistry and especially biology-wise. But like this past year, it's been the first time I'm ever going to trade shows, and I love them. I love the Reefapaloozas. I think they're a lot of fun. So if you see me there, chat me up. I love to meet everybody in this hobby. I don't know yet if I'll be in Orlando, but I do believe I'll be at all the other Reefapaloozas, most likely Aquashella, and those are the ones that I'm aware of off the top of my head.
Awesome. Now, when Isaiah and I were chatting back and forth through messages and stuff, he said, I told him a lot of times we spin the wheel here on Tank Talk.
Yep.
And you know what he said? He was like, I've got a couple of Hannah checkers.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's
so
right.
You'll get either the nitrate checker or the alkalinity checker.
Okay. All right, here we go, guys. And I'm going to start spinning this wheel. There's going to be two spins, one for a nitrate high range and one for an alkalinity. So 2 people is going to win a Hannah checker here tonight. That is, if you're watching, you got to be present to win.
Right.
And like, who would have wanted to miss this? Here we go, guys. Now, while that's spinning, I want to thank Isaiah for coming on here and number one.
Wow.
No, how often does that happen? Guys, it's number one.
Okay.
Number one, you are, Chad, my admin, will look that up, and he will let us know who it is. And that is going to be for the high, I have it listed in order as nitrate high range. Is that okay with you?
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay, so the first one is going to be which is number one, is going to get the high range nitrate checker. And man, Isaiah, I have just absolutely had a blast on here tonight.
I don't want to leave.
Okay, let's stop.
Let's just talk.
Henry Denning, and I know he is on here because he has asked some questions. I have seen him go through here on the live, and he posted on the one on the page. Henry Denning, congratulations. You are the winner of the high range nitrate checker from Isaiah and Hannah. So now we're going to spin for an alkyl. I know, Henry, that's awesome. You were number one. You're still number one in my book, buddy. So here we go. This is going to be for the alkalinity checker. Here we go, guys. Good luck, everybody. And I do hope you do what?
If it's number two, I'm going to be blown away.
All right. Number 19. I know, if it's number 2, I don't know. We might have to end this live. Number 19. let me write Henry's name down before I forget. And I do hope, Isaiah, that you get to go to Orlando.
Yeah.
I would love to meet you. And I'm actually going to get to go to Orlando. It is going to be my Drew Fox. Let's see if he is watching. Drew Fox, you got just about a minute or so to comment and let us know that you're here. Otherwise, we're going to have to spin the wheel again. So, Drew Fox, if you're watching, please comment and let us know you're here. I do hope that you get to go to Orlando. That's actually going to be my very first ever show. And I am just like super excited about that.
The show
Absolutely.
awesome. I think you'll have a great time. And this really is such a tight-knit community, and it's been so fun to meet everybody. Like I've met Harley with Pacific Northwest Customs, and the guys from Saltwater Aquarium and Bulk Reef Reps and all like that. And it's just so much fun to hang out with everybody in this industry.
I see Drew Fox is here. Congratulations, Drew. You are the winner of an alkalinity checker from who else? Isaiah with Hannah. Please spin again. I recently won a huge Hannah giveaway.
Oh,
He's giving back. He's giving back. He's passing it on.
That's awesome. I'm going to ask you, Drew, did you win one of the marine monitors? Or what did you win? Curious.
Did you win one of the marine monitors, Drew? Let us know. Okay. I'm going. Drew wants to spin again. Here we go. This is for the alkalinity checker.
Very realistic of you, Drew. Thank you.
Paying it forward. You will not find any friendlier people than anywhere on this page. Number 27. Number 27. Let's see. What did Drew say? He said, no, I won the 450 Insta giveaway.
Oh, nice. Okay.
There you go. That's awesome. Number 27. We're going to see who that is. And we're going to see if maybe they didn't win something recently and they would like to have that Hannah checker. That's pretty cool. I'm super excited. Now I want to ask, I always ask the vendors, and I haven't asked you yet. Christy Jeff Wagner, number 27. Christy Jeff Wagner, are you watching? Christy Jeff Wagner. Let me see if they're watching. While we're waiting for them to comment, Christy Jeff Wagner, they give mine out. Oh, oh my goodness, everybody's giving it forward. They said give their spin again because they have two already.
2 alkalinity checkers. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna spin that wheel, and then I'm gonna ask you another question there.
All right.
What is there any new plans? Anything on the horizon? Number 21. Number 21. While Chad is looking up who number 21 is there anything new on the horizon? Anything you can tell us that might be in the works for Hannah? Anything new coming out? I know the 9-in-1 is, but is there anything else new on the horizon?
Yes. So within this past year, since last April, we have had 4 new products. The magnesium checker, the ammonia checker, the 9-in-1, and again, the marine monitor. So because we represent so many different sectors, this year was very heavy for new aquarium products. Next year is most likely other sectors are going to get new products. But after that, then yes, we do plan, or at least want to, come out with a connected version of the marine monitor that will be like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, something like that. And we are actually trying to figure out what individual checker folks want. We've heard some people strontium. We've heard some people interested in a potassium checker. So honestly, it would help me if any of you feel really strong about testing a parameter that we don't have yet. Shoot me an email. Let me know why. Let me know why it's important to you, and I can start that conversation, because we do want to come out with a new checker soon. And at this point, we've done what we feel are the critical things, and now we want to know what would be most useful for the community.
Awesome. Now, congratulations to Jamie Hines, and she has already commented that she's here. So she gets the alkalinity, or they get the alkalinity checker. Jamie Hines. So I will post the winners. Now, I will tell you, Isaiah, feel free to, if you want, if you want to, if you're looking for ideas on a new checker, if you've got, say, the top 5 in mind or whatever, and you want to see what the majority rules segment is on Tank Talk, put a poll up and yeah, put a poll up and let everybody vote, and see what would be the best.
Mm-hmm. That would be perfect. Yeah, because at this point, like ammonia and magnesium, we feel have rounded out the critical things, and now it's really a matter of what people want the most. So we're here to make people happy. What can I say?
That's right. Absolutely. Well, I mean, who wants to make a whatever checker and nobody uses it, So
Exactly.
See what the people want. And if you want to, you're welcome to put up a poll on Tank Talk page. I can speak for my page. You're welcome to put up a poll and just see what the majority rules is.
That would be awesome. And of course, everybody here, continue following Tia and continue sharing the page. We'll be sharing this video once we get the link. And for everyone watching, also please do follow our specific Hannah Aqua Instagram page. It's at Hannah_Aqua, and that's where we do have a lot of information. If we have promos, things like that coming up, you'll get it all there. You'll get to see people using our testers, things like that. So everybody on here watching it in the past, present, or future, follow Hannah Aqua at Hannah_Aqua.
Awesome. Thank you so very much, Isaiah, for joining us. And it has now been like an hour and 20 minutes.
Here I thought, man, I'm going to be on the short end, and now I'm in like the upper percentile of duration for these videos.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I feel bad when I keep, because I know you guys are all busy. You vendors and stuff, you guys are like crazy busy. And sometimes I feel bad, but then you get to start talking, and then it's just like, oh my gosh, there it goes. We blink and an hour's gone.
Yeah. And you're a lot of fun to talk to. I've really enjoyed this. I hope that we talk in the future. Next time we have a new product, I would love to do something like this again. And to the whole community, thank you guys for watching. Catch me at the next trade show. Send me an email. Let me know if you love a checker. Send me an email. We love to get some feedback. If it's not working for you, send it to you. If you love it and you can't do your tank without it, let us know too. It works on both ends of the spectrum.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the only way you're going to know. You never know if something's broke if someone doesn't tell you. You can't fix it. So all the feedback. And maybe you're just doing a little something wrong, and through conversation, email back and forth. Generally a lot of things can be worked out that way because it's just one little simple step or one little thing that they're doing wrong. So, feel free to get a hold of Isaiah. Isaiah is going to make a post after the live on Tank Talk page, and he's going to show the ways that you can get in touch with him. Yeah. And also,
I'll probably post tomorrow if that's
tomorrow.
Is that all right?
For sure. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Excellent. And then let's see, I'm going to post the winners, and we will drop your links there in the comment section of the winners. And Isaiah, real quick before you go, now Henry and Jamie, do they email you to claim their prizes? How does that work?
That would probably be easiest. I'll also talk to UT and offline, maybe if you could help me get in touch with them directly. Yeah, if you guys have won, email the aquarium at hannahints.com with your name, shipping address, and phone number. And also I'll talk with Tian offline so that we can just verify that.
Absolutely. And Affordable Frags is hollering jars and spoons. So put that in the future for Hannah.
Make sure that you click the packet, that you scrunch the sides together and make a little trough. We do have YouTube videos. Our YouTube channel is also Hannah_Aqua. and that kind of walks you through using each of the checkers.
Awesome. Yes, those tutorial videos like that are very handy for a lot of things. So go check them out on YouTube and give them a follow. And who knows, affordable, maybe they'll get jars and spoons one day.
Exactly.
And maybe they'll make something that beeps.
Maybe we'll make something. We will see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. I'm really honored to be here with you guys, and I look forward to being in touch. I really enjoy being in touch with this community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Isaiah, for your time, and I will be in contact with you. Thank you very much.
Sounds good. Good evening, everybody. Peace for now.
Good night. Guys, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight, and I enjoyed our discussion with Isaiah. I don't know about y'all, but I sure did, and it was absolutely fantastic. I learned a lot about Hannah, some stuff about Isaiah, and possibly what's coming up in the future. I know in 2 weeks from now, they are going to be on the market with the 9-in-1. So you're going to want to go check that out. Thank you very much, Joshua. Thank you, Ashley. Melissa, I appreciate you guys. We're only here because of all of you. And I want to thank you so very much for all the invites and all the shares that you're doing for Tank Talk. And guys, we are I think it's 113, something like that, 112 away from 5K. We're going to get there before our birthday. And you got to unload your cleanup crew. There you go. Thank you very much for joining us, each and every single one of you. And just know that we try to make the page the very best that it can be. And I appreciate you guys so very much. Who do we have next week? I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a couple of hints. They've never been on Tank Talk before. And just know that it is going to be one hot live next week. Who's it going to be? Y'all think about it. Watch for the drop. It'll be coming up in the next day or two. And let's see who it's going to be. It's going to be hot, though. I'll tell you that. Your invite is locked or blocked, and it won't let me send any. Oh, I can feel you. I was in invite jail for 6 days. I'm free now, so we're good. Y'all take care. Have you a wonderful evening, and I will see you definitely next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for another live. They've never been on Tank Talk, never had them on for a live, and it's going to be hot. Take care, guys. See you next week.